Good afternoon and welcome to the Temple of Kriya Yoga. O Supreme Spirit, saints and sages of all religions, Babaji, Liri Maharshi, Sri Yukteswarji, Paramahansa Yogananda, Param Guru Sheliji, and beloved Kriyananda, we bow to all of you. Free our spiritual path from all difficulties and lead us to the shores of eternal wisdom and bliss. May thy love shine forever on the sanctuary of our souls, and may we be able to awaken thy wisdom and love in all hearts. Om Tat Sat Om. Have you ever gone to work, you got up early, it was dark, you were kind of bumbling around, you get to work and you realize you've got two different socks on, you don't have a pair, they don't match? Well, I have, more than once. Have you ever been driving and you're dreaming about your favorite song or what you're going to cook that night, and all of a sudden two lanes merge into one and you're stuck behind some giant truck? I certainly have. Well, what would have helped in those situations, help prevent them? And the answer is awareness. So today's meditation is upon awareness. We need awareness to help us navigate through everyday life, as well as the spiritual, the astral, the not so perceived life, the internal life. So there's external awareness, that's your body, your physical, the practical reality of existence, the waking state, the Pingalic awareness, the outside world. Now the Army is well aware of this. They have a training exercise in which they say every time you go into a room, you're supposed to memorize the positions of where everything was, what was there and where it was. Was it on the wall? Was it on the table? And then when you exit the room, you're supposed to try to remember as much as you can about the positions of things and what the things were. This is an excellent exercise in external awareness. Now we have the internal awarenesses, which I alluded to before. And that's what goes on in our minds, our emotions, our feeling states, our dreams, our desires, our fears, all those internal awarenesses that are constantly flowing. So we need to be aware of those awarenesses. And then, of course, we need to be aware of when we're out of balance. If you know you woke up on the wrong side of the bed and you're feeling kind of irritable, well, then don't go to the boss because you know you're going to argue. Don't try to be gentle with the spouse. Don't be around people that push your buttons. There are things you can do to offset the karma from being out of balance. And you need the internal awareness to control or soften the reactions to things. And then you need an awareness also beyond ourselves of other people's needs. Certainly every parent knows this. When the baby cries, you need to change its diaper or comfort it, feed it. But likewise with adults, people don't always say what they really need. So you need to try to probe deeper and be aware of what they're really communicating to you, not just with words, but emotionally. And that way you can help them better. Be aware of how they think, their mode of reacting. Are they hearing people, visual people? Various types of people respond to the world in different ways. And then what's really helpful is awareness of your own horoscope and what the transits are to that horoscope, the progressions. These are the triggers. Certain planets can cross your difficult aspects and trigger things, or your positive aspects and trigger things. Be aware of the world horoscope and what's going on out there. You know, right now we've got Pluto in Aquarius, and that's going to be quite exciting. So prepare for surprises and do your best to protect yourself and make peace with your subconscious. Now, our ultimate goal, though, as seekers, as yogis, and even as humans, are not just these types of awarenesses, but there's a greater awareness that we can and should expand ourselves into. And that is awareness of who we really are. We need to turn the awareness back upon itself and ask, what is awareness? Who is it that's being aware? Who is the experiencer? And stop being lost in all the experiences. We forget. We forget that we ourselves, the real self, the Brahman, the reality, is pure consciousness. They call it Sat Chidananda. Sat is being. Chit is mind stuff, consciousness. Ananda, because it's blissful. So much blissful than you can possibly imagine. Thousands and thousands of fold bliss. And that is the Brahman, the unchanging reality, the perceiver. It's eternal, it's deathless, omnipresent, omniscient, beyond space, time, and causation. It's Shakti, the silent witness, who you really are, and that we can seek and that we can find. Now let's do a little thought experiment right now. We're going to talk about this, use this marvelous book, and this book is called The Heart of Awareness, the Ashtavakra Gita. And it is the most holy of the scriptures in the Vedanta Hindu tradition. We're going to use it right now for a little thought experiment. I'm going to look at this book and ask, who is it that sees the book? How am I seeing the book? Well, the eyes see the book, right? Sure. But who is it that sees the eyes? Who knows, well, the print was too small, and maybe I need glasses. Something knows that. Well, it's your mind. The mind sees the eyes. But going even a step further, who is it that sees the mind? Who knows that the mind was pleased with what it's read? The mind was curious about more. You do, of course. The self sees the mind seeing the eyes. So one of the biggest questions, and also a technique for greater awareness, is to go around and asking, who am I? To whom does this consciousness come? To whom do these feelings come? To whom do these experiences come? This is a Jnana Yoga technique. So what this book is a dialogue between the young sage Ashtavakra and the king Janaka, who you might remember was mentioned in the Upanishads. And the young boy is teaching the king, and the king asks him, "Oh, master, tell me how to find detachment, wisdom, and freedom." "Child, if you wish to be free, shun the poison of the senses. Seek the nectar of truth, of love and forgiveness, simplicity and happiness. Earth, wind, and fire, you are none of these. If you wish to be free, know that you are the self, the witness of all things, the heart of awareness." So what's our biggest obstacle to knowing this self, to finding the heart of awareness? Well, it's this monkey mind. And this monkey mind is always grasping at everything it sees, is lost in its desires and fears. And it's always got vrittis, thought waves flowing through it. And then we're always reacting to those thought waves and compounding them. So we need to learn some methods to help detach from this monkey busy mind. And what I'd like to do is, with you, is a little meditation. And this meditation will help us quiet the mind, be at peace. And it's an external awareness meditation. So what we're going to do is sit quietly, and in this meditation, we're going to be listening and feeling external sounds and sensations. So if you would like to join, please sit in a comfortable seated position. Can be on a chair with your feet resting on the floor, could be on cushions or pillows or a couch. But the spine straight, shoulders relaxed, comfortable. And then gently withdraw and start to draw in the energies from your hands and your arms and your shoulders into the trunk of the body, drawing and gathering and centering. And now gently from your feet, starting from the feet upwards through the ankles and into the knees and up the thighs into the trunk of the body again, centering. And then pull the energies in from the two sides of your trunk into the very center of the spine and gently lift the consciousness up to the third eye, at the root of the nose between the eyebrows, Agya Chakra. And now we're going to listen for external sounds and sensations scanning the body. So we'll start dropping the consciousness now down to the feet. What do you feel externally to your feet? You feel the floor, them gently resting on the floor. Are they on a soft carpet or a concrete floor? Coming up to the knees, the thighs, do you feel your hands resting comfortably in your lap? Now your arms and your skin, do you feel a breeze? Is the room warm or cold? What do you feel around your body? Just for a moment, sense that. Now, placing the attention in the ears, what do you hear externally? Can you hear an air conditioner going or a heater? Gentle street noise? Perhaps some footsteps, apartment above? Maybe some music a neighbor is playing? Distant thunder? An airplane? Just listen for a few moments. What do you hear in the outside world? And now gently wiggle your hands and toes, come back to the room, and try to feel just for a second that perhaps you're more relaxed. And Ashtavakra says, set your body aside, sit in your own awareness. You will at once be happy, forever still, forever free. Be happy, for you are unbounded joy. You are awareness itself. Just as a coil of rope is mistaken for a snake, you are mistaken for the world. The self looks like the world, but this is just an illusion. The self is everywhere, one, still, free, and perfect. The witness of all things, awareness without action, clinging, or desire. So yes, two people go into a dark barn and they see a coil in the corner. One says, "Oh, that's a garden hose. I'm going to need that later." And the other recoils in fear. "Oh my God, it's a snake." And then they turn the light on. Well, what was it? It was neither. It was a coil of rope. Well, so is this world. And the physicists know this. Everything appears solid and behaves solid, but what's it made of? Atoms, and then they subdivided atoms, and the atoms aren't even real. They're made of quarks, and the quarks are made of charges, and the charges are made of even probabilities. You know, we don't even know where one is at a given time. It might be there, and it might disappear into antimatter. So even this world, so is an illusion. It has to be paid attention to, and its laws must be followed. But it's the rope and the snake. When we realize our real self, when we wake up from this waking dream, we're aware that it was all Maya, the play of the Lord. So we also need, and very useful tool, is dream awareness. And what we're after is continuity of consciousness. We go from sleep to wake, wake to sleep, and there's two very important transitions that we need to be aware of in between. The state between waking and sleeping is called the hypnagogic zone. And in there, if you sit and you become aware and you watch yourself fall asleep, you'll learn quite a few things and see some images, and very interesting what happens in there. And likewise, if you're an early riser and you wake up more slowly, you become aware of some very interesting factors as you gradually awaken. And then we have to ask ourselves, who is it that's aware during these states? The states go from waking to the hypnagogic to the sleeping and then dreaming. And you all know the famous story of Chung Tzu. He dreamt he was a butterfly. And when he woke up, he said, "Was I a butterfly dreaming that I was a man, or was I a man dreaming I'm a butterfly?" So who is it that's aware? And there's even a third state, and that's the deep, deep sleep. And in that, you're not aware of anything external or even internal, but you're resting in your own bliss. But you're only dimly aware of this bliss. But who is it that kind of knows, "Oh, I slept so well"? You are. So now let's go to an internal awareness meditation. And if you would like to join me, this time we're going to scan the body and listen and feel the internal sounds and sensations to help us quiet the mind. So if you wish to join me, sit again in the comfortable seated position with your spine erect and your shoulders relaxed. Maybe take a deep breath in and exhale. And gradually pull your energies in from the feet to the legs, ascending through the thighs and up into the trunk of the body, gathering. And gently, gently pulling the awareness in from the limbs, from the hands, the arms, the shoulders, into the trunk, centering. And now taking the energies from the sides of your spine into the very center. And bringing that awareness up again briefly to the sun center. And we're going to now drop our attention down to the feet and scan the body for internal sounds and sensations. So how do your feet feel inside? Listen to them. Do they have any message for you? What do you feel inside the ankles? The legs, the calves, the knees. What are they telling you? The thighs. Do you hear any message in those thighs? And what do you feel in the hip area, in the back? Listen, feel. Are they telling you anything? And now that the internal organs, maybe you could hear your stomach grumbling or telling you something. Relax and now pay attention to the diaphragm. What do you feel there? What do you hear there? Can you feel it gently rising and falling? Can you hear the gentle sound of your breath as it inhales and exhales? Letting your shoulders relax, your arms relax, and scan them in the hands. Do you feel there? Are they telling you anything? And now the neck and the head. And when you get to the ear level, listen. What is your brain telling you? Do you hear inside your skull? In your ears? Feel your heart. Can you gently hear your heartbeat? Can you feel your pulse? And now swoop down and scan your body upward one more time, listening and feeling any messages that it has for you and listening to the internal sounds. Now gently wiggle your hands and toes, roll your shoulders, and come back to the room. And we continue now with the Ashtavakra Gita. By nature, my mind is empty. Even in sleep, I am awake. I think of things without thinking. All my impressions of the world have dissolved. You are not your body. The body is not yours. You are not the doer. You're not the enjoyer. But you are pure awareness, the witness of all things. You are without expectation and free. Wherever you go, be happy. Desire and aversion are of the mind. The mind is never yours. You are free of its turmoil. You are awareness of itself, never changing. Wherever you go, be happy. For see, the self is in all beings, and all beings are in the self. Know you are free, free of I and mine. In you the worlds arise like waves in the sea. It is true, you are awareness itself. And finally, we can watch the breath as a technique. Be aware of the breath, the whole science of pranayama. Are you aware that the breath changes nostrils every 2 hours? 2 hours it flows through the right is more open, and 2 hours it flows through the left, and it alternates. Well, the Hindus have a whole science around this, Swara Yoga. The breath has shapes depending on the tattvas, the elements. If you put a mirror up under your nose, sometimes you can see that the breath is coming out square. Sometimes it's coming out triangular. Sometimes it's coming out circular. Well, this science of understanding which element and which nostril the breath is flowing through can be used. The Hindus have whole books on don't start a journey unless the breath is flowing to the left if you're going east and things like that. And if you're having a bad mood and you notice that your breath is flowing through the right nostril, you can lay down on the right and then it shifts to the left and you could soften your mood. So let's for a moment just close our eyes, pull the energies in, and just for a moment, watch your breath, making no attempt to control it. Just watch it as it flows in and out. By itself. And notice if it's cool on the inhales and warmer on the exhales. Which is longer, the inhalations or the exhalations? Can you feel what shape it is as you exhale? Does the breath go just shallow in your chest, or does it go all the way deep to the belly? Can you feel it in the rib area, the back of the ribs, chest and shoulders? Is it gentle or choppy? Fast or slow? And now gently inhale deeply and exhale. Come back to the room. And one of the best methods for softening karma, controlling awareness, becoming more aware is the various pranayamas and watching the breath techniques. And when you're agitated, be aware that the breath is fast and just slow it down, or deepen the exhales and lengthen them. Absolutely great techniques. So there's something for everybody, and if everybody can use with these practices and with these awarenesses. It is said that when you do these, you choose one of the 3 meditations that we did, and you take each one. Let's say you want to try the external meditation. Practice it for a week or 2 weeks or a month daily. Doesn't have to be very long, but stay with that practice a few minutes a day. And then move on to the next one, the internal awareness. Same thing. A week if you want, or 2 weeks or a month, and notice any changes in your personality, your peace of mind. And likewise, you can do so with the various pranayamas and just watching the breath. And it is said that doing these things will not only bring you greater awareness, but it's a guilt eraser. I like that one. And we finish with Ashtavrika. And he talks about what it's like when you have this awareness, this pure awareness, this self-realization. What more is there to say? He knows the truth. He has no desire for pleasure or liberation. At all times, he is free from passion. He has given up the duality of the world that arises in the mind and is nothing more than a name. He is pure awareness. What left is for him to do? The man who is pure knows for certain that nothing really exists. It's all a work of illusion. He sees what cannot be seen, and his nature is peace. He sees that the self never suffers or dies. So what does he care for the world or the feeling, I am the body is mind? After hearing the truth, the fool clings to folly, but inside he's full of cravings. When the truth is understood, work falls away. And you can take one of the things that the Hindus use that's a wonderful technique is they have a saying, idam namama. This is not mine. Everything belongs to God. And if you go around for a couple of days thinking that, that helps expand your awareness and get it away from I, me, mine, and yourself as the doer. And then you can use the Vedantic technique, the who am I, if you're so inclined. And you can use the various yogic practices. Tell me, O Master, how to find detachment, wisdom, and freedom. Child, if you wish to be free, shun the poison of the senses, seek the nectar of truth and forgiveness. Earth, water, fire, and air, you are none of these. Wind and sky, you are none of these. If you wish to be free, know that you are the self, the witness of all things, the heart of awareness. May you be blessed with ever greater, ever more blissful, expanding awareness on all levels, that you might be a blessing and an even greater blessing to others. Om Shri Seekers Jai. Om Tat Sat Om. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Peace Peace Peace. May you find that reality.